The reign of Vanquish Soul has begun before it's even completely out. Lorenzo Muselli takes the European World Championship qualifier and becomes the European champion for 2025. One of the most consistent, deserving, and successful players in Europe at the moment. Two-time Italian champion, multiple YCS stops in Europe in the past few years. Super deserving, and yeah, the big story of the day is that Vanquish Soul is already here, and it's not even in its final form. So we'll talk about that. Mitsurugi and Fiendsmith, where are these decks going? And some of the new decks like Sky Striker actually making a big impact on this tournament. If you want to see more of these all the time, every event, I'm going to be here. So subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications. First of all, starting off from the very, very top, on Friday, we had the World Championship points qualifiers to qualify for the World Championship in Paris this year. So shout out to the winners, the top three, Yuna, Mathis, and Damien, taking it all, and they will be going to Paris alongside four other contenders, European contenders in this EUWCQ. Now, a little bit of breakdown. Of course, this is top 64. This is going to be deck day one. Now, this was the room. 2,200 and some duelists in the venue in Berlin. And look at this. So check this out. We have 23% of the room on Malice. Yes, Malice consistently kind of disappointing the player base, to be honest. It's almost become laughable now how Malice doesn't have like a easy time winning an event. And this was also the case. One Malice in top 16. This was the case in Berlin today. And we have Mitsurugi, Vanquish Soul at 13%, and Mitsurugi, Ryziel, Memento, and Lunalight, and others. Now, obviously, Malice, Mitsurugi, and yeah, Vanquish Soul was also a contender for this event with the new Holly Sue card, the new Vanquish Soul field spell. Very, very good support. And again, this deck is about to get a huge boost in 3 days, guys. This deck is only going to get better, and it was a mirror match in the finals of Vanquish Soul, which is crazy. And look at the conversion rate. Malice converting only 15 slots, being the top represented deck in the event, and Vanquish Soul and Mitsurugi Ryziel at the top. The variant that people were playing, we're going to look at gameplay in a second, always, was Mitsurugi, Fiendsmith, and a small engine of Ryziel. Very, very interesting. Now, let's start off with some of the storylines of this event. I think this was round 5 of Swiss on day 1. And this is going to be a card that you will see, unfortunately, a lot until the World Championship. You got about a month to hold your Imperms and Veilers for this card, because Francesco here on Vanquish Soul is about to summon one of the most nastiest FTK cards in recent memory. Just got banned in Master Duel, was banned in the recent Forbidden and Limited list on the OCG side, and of course it is number 67, Paradise Smasher. Yes, everybody. This card, if you don't know what it does, look up the specific effect, but essentially both players roll a couple of dice. And if you have a material remaining on this card, you need to make it with 3 materials, then you get to bump up one of the results of the die to 7, right? You get a higher result, your opponent cannot activate monster effects and attack until the end of the next turn. So this is essentially an FTK card. It's going to be played in Vanquish Soul with a lot of level 5s, and of course, with K9, the most infamous rank 5, level 5 deck probably in history, maybe except Cyber Dragons. You're going to be seeing a lot of this card. So I'm going to make a guide specifically on how to counter these decks, but also hold your Veilers, Ogres, Imperms, Nibs. Hold it if you got it, because you're getting FTK'd otherwise. Now, Lorenzo Muselli became the champion, but he was on stream a lot today, especially in Top Gun. I think 4 times in top 64. This was a top 64 moment. Actually, a match between Titans. Anthony Lopez, if you remember, in the finals in YCS Bologna last year when Joshua Schmidt won, and Lorenzo playing Vanquish Soul here, making Malice look such a trivial deck. Honestly, it's matchup dependent. Sometimes you're going to have a better hand than your opponent. This will happen. But the fact is, Vanquish Soul got a huge bump of support, allowing them to play on your turn. And sometimes it's just going to be enough. And this is the power of this deck moving forward. And not only that, of course, K9 Azuna being able to summon from your opponent's hand. On your turn, it's a Havnis, it's a whatever, it's a Sheeran, it's everything in one card. That card is going to be nuts. It's level 5. And yeah, this was the variant that people played, Pot of Extravagance. Vanquish Soul does not care about the extra deck. They have basically maybe a Typhon, 3 Rock of the Vanquisher, some Vanquish Soul rocks, the new Xyz monster. They don't care. Maybe an SPL Knight for good measure, but drawing 2 cards in this deck, when you need more cards, you need more attributes, you need everything that you have, like you need gas in your hand, this was a cool variant to see. I think most of the players in Top Cut, if not all of them, with Vanquish Soul play this card, just because the same reason why I played in Fire King. The extra deck doesn't actually really matter. Where the extra deck does matter when you play Pot of Extravagance, and if you know, you know, check out my Twitter for the tweet. Joshua Schmidt facing Johannes, a team member of his. I think it's Johannes, honestly. People are going to call me out on how I pronounce that name. This was the variant that people played in deeper rounds of the Top Cut. Mitsurugi, Ryziel, Fiendsmith. This was the engine. Such a strong engine because the Fiendsmith engine requires 1 card to pop off. The Ryziel engine requires 1 card to pop off. And of course, the synergy with Mitsurugi that also requires 1 single card to pop off. This deck is explosive. It has really good grind game. And we saw a lot of Drolls in this tournament as well. Droll remains to be an issue, but again, if both players are drolling each other, the game will come to a standstill most of the time. I really want to try to see. This was game 1. We'll try to go to the end of game 3 here, where Josh reveals the fact that he actually banished his 3 Rock of the Vanquisher. I think this was a judge call, but he did banish 3 Rock of the Vanquisher from Extravagance. I don't think the game was winnable otherwise, but it was just a fun detail to see in regards to Extravagance. On the other hand, Mitsurugi Fiendsmith Ryziel sometimes has a very, very poor tournament, right? Or at least a game. We have Theodore on the bottom with Sky Strikers actually making it all the way to top 8, which is commendable with Strikers with the new support. But also, both games against Edgar, who's playing Mitsurugi, who needs to not get drolled. He draws the droll, and at the end of the day, he draws Nibiru, and he does that for both games and just obliterates Edgar, his opponent. So we didn't get to see much Striker in this match, but we did get to see some more Striker in his top 8 game against Lorenzo Muselli, the current reigning champion. The thing I will say, we also saw Quantal Thanks, former world champion in Master Duel, known figure in the community. We also saw him in early Swiss rounds playing Sky Striker. I am a Striker fan. This was my deck before branded religiously. Engage was at 1. I was playing that deck. I was having a really good time. I love Striker. I'm going to probably take it to locals this week, to be honest. But Vanquish Soul, man, the level of power and advantage that this deck pulls off, sometimes Striker not being able to keep up. I think Theodore, to be honest, I'm not going to be critical about how he played feature match top 8 for the world champion invite, for the world championship invite, by the way. This game's winner is going to Paris. It was Lorenzo Muselli at the end. You know, it's stressful. It's not super, fun. But a couple misplays that really costed the game. I think that perfect gameplay, maybe he wins. At the end of the day, unfortunately, this game goes all the way to time. And this is something that is going to be prevalent in the upcoming format. Heavy Borger burns for time. And he actually had the best hand. You can see the clock is at 0. He had 2 engaged, Thrust Duster. But at the end of the day, another 1,500 burn. The trap burns for another 1,800. And don't get to time against this deck. Don't get to time. At the end of the day, we have Roselle here against Lorenzo. 2 Vanquish Soul players. But I think what happened here was that Roselle, from her, I think it was from Prosperity, if I'm not mistaken, banishes the Promethean Princess. And now, going to look in the extra deck and realize that the Promethean Princess is gone and past turn. And with Holy Sue, with the big bodies, no interruptions. You just pop and take and goes, and just wins the finals like that. This was a Vanquish Soul mirror match, and it was very, very impressive to see. I think people overall are excited, but also kind of scared. Vanquish Soul is not an unfair deck, but at the end of the day, Paradise Smasher number 67, the Borger, Time Burn, these will need to be addressed. You as players need to be prepared. So I'm going to post a video, I think, in the coming days on how to play against these decks, honestly. But I think we are in for a format, guys. It's going to be a rough month because we don't have a ban list coming. Thanks for watching. Yes, this was my EUWCQ recap. Of course, if you enjoyed it, if you like this type of content, just subscribe, because then you will see all the other videos I post. You can join our Discord server. It's free. You can like this video. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Next time, World Championship. A lot of videos coming up this week. Goodbye. Peace.